Okay. Well, that's hopefully given us some ideas about what DXP solutions could be. Can we get the next slide? For those of you that don't know me, my name's Jim Shaw. I'm the general manager of our Drupal Cloud business here. I'm a Brit, but I live and work at HQ, like Lynn in Boston. I would bore you with my green card and non-dom status, but I think you've probably heard enough about that over the last few months or so. I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction to what's going on in Drupal Cloud today for 2022. But before I do that, I just want to put some context on the Drupal Cloud business so that we can use that as background for today. And we're going to start with a journey down memory lane. So here are two pictures from the year 2011, which was the year that I joined Acquia, so about 11 years ago. I took the picture on the left. I'm in the picture on the right. I think I'm still wearing the same clothes, so I apologize for that. Who can name for me the one other person who still works for Acquia that's in this picture on the right here? Who's that? Yeah, James Meller. So I think he still has that cardigan, actually. I don't think he's wearing it today. But this, always coming back to Europe now, I live in the US, is a bit of a trip down memory lane for me. We've grown enormously over the 11 years here. Back then, we were actually less than $10 million in revenue globally. And almost nothing in EMEA. I remember coming back from my induction in Boston for 2 weeks and sitting at home with nobody else here. So this is the story of how we built in 2011. But let me tell you the story about where we are now compared to then. It's not often you get to stand in front of a slide and have the number 3,000% growth, because that's exactly how much the Drupal Cloud's business has grown since then. You get this over 2,400 customers globally. We have a 102% net renewal rate. I put that on there because it's a statistic that tells you that, number one, our customers stay with us year after year after year, but they also grow with us through their success. They end up doing more and more with us over time. And the one other stat I'll call out on here is the 115 billion views. I'll leave you to do the calculation of how many views that is per internet-connected adult, but that kind of gives you a bit of context as to how much we're present in the market. And that story is told over and over again in the stories that you tell about how you use our solutions. And I'll talk to you about a few of those today. Mars is the first logo on here. I think they might be here today. They migrated over 100 sites from Sitecore onto the Acquia platform in 2021, including brands like Snickers, Ben's Original, Twix, IAMS, and more. They've grown to tens of millions of views on our platform in 21, and more of their global brands are coming over all the time. They should get well over 200 sites on the platform by the end of 2022. Alshaya, perhaps not the most recognizable brand on here. They're a franchise business. They take high street brands like Foot Locker, H&M, American Eagle, and they stand those businesses up as franchises in the Middle East. And they're an e-commerce use case, which is kind of a hot topic these days. They have about 60 sites in 7 countries. They're growing by 5 to 10 sites a year. And we became incredibly important to them in the pandemic because with the pandemic, their route to revenue was e-commerce. So their usage exploded. They were up to something like 400 million views and something like 30 transactions a minute, which is fairly high volumes for e-commerce. And then maybe the third example here is Charles Schwab. We're the content backbone for their solution. They deliver, they author and distribute marketing, product, and education content through all of their touch points, all their channels, all their applications, from their website, for their retirement sites, for their mobile apps, and they do that through our solution. Some 56,000 items of content get distributed through our solution every day for them. And these are just a few of the many customers we have on the platform. We built that business by betting on cloud and betting on open source before anybody else. I remember back in 2011 sitting with companies like BT trying to persuade them that they should do open source CMS and do it in the cloud rather than in their own data center. From customers like J&J to Sony, from Stanley Black & Decker to Nestle, AMD, Department of Justice, UCAS, Michael Page, they all bet their business on Acquia and Drupal Cloud every day. So just like you do, right? So thank you to you and to all of them for putting their faith in our solutions. And with that as context, let's take a look at how we're trying to drive that further forwards and deliver more innovation in 2022. Now, some of you who may know me may know I'm a bit of a movie buff. So I'm going to be speaking to you in the language of movie scenes, movie quotes, and so on. Audience participation may win prizes, okay? So let's start us off. Here's the first scene. Who can name this movie? Oh, there's a few. I've got Acquia socks here for people. I heard a Pulp Fiction over here. Ready? Here you go. Sorry, did I get somebody? I heard one over here as well, so there you go. So, Pulp Fiction, right? All the characters in this anthology movie are desperate to get their hands on the unknown's mysterious prize in the briefcase, right? We never actually see the contents, but everybody's after it. So why did I think of this scene? Well, this scene reminds me of a conversation I had with Steve Williamson about when EMEA customers are going to get hold of Acquia Cloud Next. It's a little subtle for everybody, maybe. Steve's a great advocate for his customers here. Well, the good news is it's coming and it's nearly here. So let's take a look at our goals with Acquia Cloud Next in 2022. We're building Acquia Cloud Next so that we have the most modern, resilient, scalable, and compliant platform in the industry to serve you, our customers. It also gives us a platform to deliver more innovation once we have that foundation in place, and more on that later. We're already delivering this for our customers now. We have about 400 customer applications on the platform today, which is just over 10% of the applications on Acquia Cloud Enterprise, and it's actually just about 10% of our customers as well. We expect to be at around 15% by the end of June. Now, all of those customers are in US East, but by the end of the year, we expect to have 90% of Acquia Cloud Enterprise customers able to use Acquia Cloud Next. And that's based on what features they're using, what features we release in the platform. We expect to have 45% of them already migrated into the new platform, with the remainder likely to be done in the first half of 2023. In H2, we expect to open in pretty much all the regions we operate today with our current solution. And we think we will get to EMEA, EU West, which is the Dublin data center. We'll be able to do that in July. So it's coming, it's nearly here. By the end of the year, we expect to be ready to pass all our compliance frameworks, so whether that be FedRAMP, PCI, and more, and our goal is to pass those during the course of 2023. Then we'll be able to exit the year with a focus on getting Acquia Cloud Site Factory onto Acquia Cloud Next as well. And we already have many brands that you recognize on the platform. Here's just a couple. We also have one of the most highly trafficked applications we have on the platform today. And unfortunately, it pains me to say I'm not able to name that company because they want us to keep that confidential. But they have a series of high traffic events every quarter. They have an event which then they get all of their audience logging in around 90 seconds at the end of those events. The platform tends to peak at around 15,000 requests per minute, and that's all uncacheable logged in traffic. We work closely with them to bring them on the platform, and we actually tested the platform up to 50,000 requests per minute. And we've already gone through several events with them in the last 2-3 months, and the platform scaled up and scaled down with no intervention whatsoever, so doing exactly what we expected it to do. What's more, over the last 2 months, this next generation platform has been more resilient and available than our classic platform, the old platform that you guys operate on today. It also gives us the ability to perform more maintenance and operations to patch and keep the platform secure with fewer interruptions to service. So that's how we're going to ensure that we meet and exceed your expectations for delivering our experiences to your customers and to your audiences. So that's Acquia Cloud Next. What else do we have in store? Okay, well, we're down to me pelting you with socks again. So here's the next quiz. I'm going to show you some actors, and you have to tell me which character these actors played in the movies, okay? The first one's maybe a little bit hard, if I stand out of the way. Anybody get it from here? No? Give you another clue? Anybody get it? Harry Potter? No. I think John Cleese is a bit old to play Harry Potter. Oh, who said it? Q, that's right. So if I reveal the last two, here we go, watch out. There we go. I need to be able to throw a bit further, I think. So yeah, all these 4 actors played Q in the James Bond movies. And as you know, in the movies, James Bond goes and visits Q at least once in every movie, and he gets the latest innovations to help him in his espionage escapades, right? So I'm going to give you 3 gadgets or 3 innovations that are going to power your year with Acquia. So the first one is something called Code Studio. This is part of our goal of being hands down the best place to develop ambitious digital experiences. Well, our goal is to get you to 100% cloud-based development. And the reason for that is because that means that your developers and your teams are busy innovating in the experiences they're generating rather than spending time maintaining their tool chain to enable them to do that effectively. Code Studio released last quarter, and we already have customers onboarded on this solution, even though it's only been in the market for about a month and a half. It's hosted in US East, but it can be used by any customers anywhere because there's no PII in that. And this takes away toil from developers, right? So it takes away toil like making sure your Drupal modules are up to date. It automates testing. It scans your code for best practices and more. And ultimately, this will become a better version of remote administration, which many of you use today, and pipelines, which I think also many of you use today. We released some clickable demos in Q1 that you'll be able to find on the website to see how this vision is realized and what it looks like. And we have a video that lays this out in way better detail than I can. So we're going to run that video for you now.
Introducing Acquia Code Studio, a Drupal-optimized version of GitLab managed by Acquia with everything you need to deploy a Drupal site in one place. Let's take a look at a few of the features that make Code Studio so powerful. First, Auto DevOps is a zero configuration required CI/CD pipeline that will automatically build, test, and stage your Drupal site every time you make a code change. That means better code, fewer bugs, and faster delivery. It installs all dependencies using Composer. It runs your tests, checks security, and validates against Drupal best practices. And finally, it assembles your code into a fast and secure artifact that is ready to be hosted. Code Studio's automatic updates make Drupal updates a breeze. Scheduled pipelines will update all Composer dependencies, including Drupal core, contributed modules, and distributions. Code Studio will also automatically replace deprecated code in your custom Drupal modules. Best of all, a merge request is created for you to easily review all changes made. You can validate that all tests have passed and even review changes in a dedicated on-demand review environment. When you're ready, click Merge. Acquia takes care of the rest. Acquia Code Studio enables your team to spend more time innovating and less time updating and maintaining your site. In the end, your site will not only be more secure, it will perform better. That is the power of Acquia Code Studio.
So there you have it, power in the hands of your developers, and I can tell you that everybody that gets hold of this, any developer that gets hold of it gets really excited about the possibilities and the work they don't have to do as a result of that. Our next innovation, number 2, is all around headless. Today, there are more options than ever to build experiences. It's possible to reuse content, remix it across channels, the entire customer experience. This demands the ability to blend traditional CMS capabilities with technologies such as JavaScript frontends, in other words, headless or decoupled architectures. This year, we're going to ensure that you can get all of those capabilities from Acquia. Drupal's already one of the best platforms to do headless. And this year, we're going to make it easier and faster to get results with the Acquia platform. We've just refreshed dev.acquia.com because one of the problems we realized was that our capabilities in headless are somewhat a secret. So dev.acquia.com is an ability for us to put real developer how-to tutorial content on the web so you can self-serve and understand how to make these types of solutions a reality. This quarter, we're going to release 2 things. We're going to release a series of modules for ACMS that will turn ACMS into a out-of-the-box a headless content repository. And then we're also releasing a software development kit, or SDK, for the popular Next.js JavaScript front-end framework based on React. These 2 things together will allow you to use Next.js to create a headless application out of the box that integrates to a Drupal CMS backend. and that will accelerate your headless projects. We previewed this at DrupalCon. You can actually see the tutorial that we have available on dev.acquia.com running here in the window. If you watch closely, you can see the terminal here is showing the Node application running, and then the window that pops up is the rendered front end being rendered from the Node application. If you look really closely, I'm going to test you at the back on your eyesight, you can actually see the logging that proves that the content for the front end is coming from the Node application. But you don't have to take my word for it. You can actually go to dev.acquia.com and look at these tutorials now and run it yourself. We hope that this will radically accelerate headless projects and also smooth the learning curve for teams learning how to do this. And the great thing about this is with Acquia and with Drupal, you get the flexibility to both do traditional CMS architectures and headless architectures from the same solution, using the same content, using the same technology and skills. So that's innovation number 3. Our final innovation is something called Cloud Actions. This will release for Acquia Cloud Next customers in Q2. And what it does is it allows a developer to use a UI to configure all the tasks that should take place when you move applications from environment to environment. So when you promote it from development to test, from test to staging, staging to production. That means that actions like clearing cache, updating configuration, disabling logging, additional logging you might have in development, disabling development modules and so on, all get done automatically just by promoting an application from one environment to another. What that means is you specify it once, and then it runs automatically. It's standardized, and you'll get more reliable deployments, and your developers have to spend less time do it. When you combine this with things like cloud IDEs, cloud development environments, Code Studio, which I just showed you, you have a next-generation development tool set to allow you to accelerate and develop projects more effectively. So these are the 3 gadgets that Q is sending you this quarter, and there will be more coming in the second half, including things like Drupal 10, being ready for Drupal 10, acceleration of our integration with the DAM products, and more. So I'm going to do one more theme for you based on movies. Maybe I won't pelt you with socks on this one, but you can, if I hear you, I can give you socks at the end. Who can name this movie? Say it louder. Casino, yes. I couldn't end my movie themes without a Scorsese movie, right? So in this movie, there's a character called Ace Rothstein, and played by the inimitable Robert De Niro. And I think about this movie, and I think about this quote. This is said by De Niro's character. There are 3 ways of doing things around here: the right way, the wrong way, and the way I do it. Now, I'm not saying that Acquia's Rothstein in this situation. I'm actually saying that you guys, our customers, are Rothstein, right? Because it doesn't matter what we think at Acquia about how we should deliver for you and what innovations you need, what you need to serve your customers, what you need to develop the right experiences. It matters what you think. We at Acquia, one of my strategic priorities is to ensure that you, our customers, describe the experience you have at Acquia as better than any other experience you could possibly get on the market. And if we're going to do that, we need to listen to you, which is why I'm so excited about being here in person with you after all of the trials of the pandemic, because we have plenty of time. Tom's promised to buy us drinks, so I look forward to his credit card melting down later on. And you come find me. Come talk to me about your experience on Acquia. Tell me what's good. Tell me what's missing. And that's how we're going to create an experience the customers crave, by listening to you. So please come find me. Tell me about your experience. Before I finish up, here's some QR codes. It seems like QR codes came in the pandemic, right? You kind of get your menu on the QR codes instead of having to touch things. So here are some resources for you. One is the video we looked at, and the others are the tutorials we had for Headless. And I shall finish off with a final movie link. Who can name this movie? Which one? Come on. You're going to do trivia. You've got to do it right. Which one? No. Yes, Days of Future Past. So this is James McAvoy. He plays Charles Xavier, the most powerful telepath on the planet. He is able to understand what you're going to do before you even think about it yourself. And what better segue into Marketing Cloud, which is all about finding the best next action for our customers by understanding them better, than this. Perhaps he looks a little bit like our next presenter, maybe. Well, here you go. Here is our Senior Director of Product Marketing and Marketing Cloud, Alex Del Canto.